You know, I think I brought this up like a lot of times, but I never really defined it. This thing of being genuine, right? Like, oh, okay, so I've said, God, I've lost track. I've lost count of how many times I've said this. But if you want to make connections, you want to forge connections, you have to be real, right? You have to be genuine. You have to be open. But I never really said what the fuck that means, did I? I kind of alluded to it, like, okay, this is an example of what it looks like to be genuine, to be real. That's kind of all I did. And I want to take that time to talk about it more today. Before I even get into the fucking genuine person thing, I want to talk about the things that are not genuine. And this kind of leads into a bigger conversation that I wasn't really ready to tackle before, but I'm kind of ready to tackle it now. So, being a good person. Good people are fucking weird, okay? I don't know if you understand how fucking strange it is to be good, to be a good person. Being a good person is some unholy amalgamation of a lot of different things. What am I doing? Oh shit, I started this? Yikes, I might not finish that. And I don't think it's obvious, but I have this idea in my head that when it comes to goodness and things like that, we have this underlying instinct of like morality, and that makes perfect sense, right? That's consistent. But when it comes to like how we behave outside that morality, because they are two different things, I find that we never really stick to it as you'd expect we do. What do I mean by that exactly? What I mean is that this thing of being a good person is widely interpreted as just being kind, but even kindness isn't exactly being kind doesn't mean you're genuine. You know what I mean? God, I wish I could explain this better. I know I said I thought I was ready to talk about this. I might not be ready to. It's funny how I started this. I said I was going to be a fucking bullet fiend, and here I am. Still not a bullet fiend, which is fine. Well, say you were donating to charity, right? Donating to charity, you know, doing charitable acts, that is considered to be a good thing to do, right? Is morally unambiguous thing. It is good to donate to charity, but I think that it's largely performative, right? You don't donate to charity because you actually want to help starving African children. You donate to charity because you think it's the good thing to do. You don't necessarily care about where the money's going or how the logistics are handled or who's paying for the fucking rent on the trucks and who's paying the people who sit in the fucking office and take the phone calls. The music came on so suddenly that I thought I was being attacked. You don't care about any of these things. You care about doing the right thing, doing the good thing. What's scary about that mindset is that the good thing shifts, right? What do they call this? Is this phenomena where what's considered good, morally right, and just it shifts, it changes. The Overton window, yeah, that's it. The Overton window changes. It moves around. It does not stay as it is forever, right? Everyone brings up that example of how could someone like Hitler come to power if people didn't think he was right. I'm not sure if that's exactly a one-to-one track, but I get the spirit. I understand the the inner intent of it. Oh wait, I think I know what the fuck is going on here. I have to kill a boss for this to open, don't I? I don't want to kill a boss. I want to get to Berg. And on top of that, I'm fucking lightning attuned. I have a lightning weapon. I do not want to fucking fight whatever's in that tower. If I recall correctly, it was some lightning king, like Gold Lich or something? I don't know. All I know is that using lightning there is a terrible idea, so I'm not going to do it. As the window shifts, and as what was considered good one day turns into something else the next, what's scary about this donating to charity thing is that you will do whatever the fuck is required of you by the Overton window. If the Overton window says, okay, now we are going to oppress the gays, like, you're doing that. Because that's what it is to be a good person. It doesn't matter if it's, like, bad right now. In 500 years, maybe it's not. Maybe there's some fucking sickly, deadly disease that's inflicted all fucking gay people around the world in this fucking pandemic. You have to call them because there's no other way, and it's cruel, harsh society, apocalypse, whatever the fuck, whatever reason you can come up with as to why this happened, as to why the Overton window shifts. The point is that when it does, you move your morals alongside it. You don't have the standards of, well, I don't believe in harming people. I believe that harming people is the wrong thing to do. You don't have that belief. You have the belief of, I want to do the right thing, I want to do the correct thing. So you will do whatever is required of you. I'm going to find these little sigils on the ground that will direct me on my path. Try to avoid stepping in poison. Like that. So, in an ideal world, you have your own standards, right? These things that you consider to be your principles, and you abide by them. I talk about this in the How to Be a Man video, but like, you have to have a list of standards. You have to have a list that says, these are the things that I consider to be true. Fuck the world. I will hold on to these principles no matter what. And that's tough. It's difficult. I get it. Not everyone is cut out to be good, right? When you realize like just how difficult that is to be able to like hold to your values and to even have values in the first place, to even have those principles, like that's extraneous. It's a lot of work. You have to do a lot of self-examination, a lot of self-discovery, a lot of like meditating on yourself. It's a lot. Not everyone does it. I would say most people don't do it, and for good fucking reason, right? There's other things to think about, more important things to think about, like how to pay your rent this month, or how to get some fucking friends because you have no friends. I don't know if I just shot a stray, or like it hit somebody. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Hey, okay. Not like it really matters for my build, but I'm glad to have you. Like when you put it into perspective like that, and you figure that, oh, so if these standards are actually super fucking difficult to really enforce and to really base yourself around, to really embrace and live up to, doesn't that mean that like most people aren't fucking good? Well, yes. And that's why I say like when you look at actually good people, that actually morally just, they don't even fucking look good. You know what I'm saying? They look kind of fucked. When was the last time you watched anime, right? I want to talk about that for a second. Jade Quarry. Hell no. I should have followed the fucking side post over here. I missed it. I got turned around. Like, whenever you think about, what's the name of the fucking Unlimited Blade Works? What is that? Fate Stay Night, that's it. When you think about fucking Emi Shiro, or whatever the fuck his name is, Emiya, and you think about his duty, his goal to be a hero of justice, right? It's not a selfish goal like Naruto of being fucking Hokage, right? He wants that for his own vanity. He wants that because he's vain. It's not like fucking Goku, where his goals are like whimsical. Like, I don't think Goku even fucking has like external motivations, but whatever. The point is that like Emi Shiro, to embody justice, to do all the crazy shit that's associated with being good, like you see how it takes a toll on him. And like, of course, there's a broader commentary there, I'm sure, about like self-sacrifice and trauma and what the fuck was it? He felt guilty because he survived. Survivor's guilt. Yeah, that was it. Like, sure, there's an entire conversation behind that, but the overall point is that like when you look at what this guy does on the face of it, these are good actions, and you could call these the attributes of a good person. But it looks absolutely fucked. It doesn't look like something you would say to yourself, oh yeah, bro, I'm going to do that. You can say, what the fuck are you thinking? Of course I'm not going to fucking do that. Are you nuts? Because it's crazy. It is crazy. You're right to be skeptical. Most people do not operate on the level of, oh yes, I wish to be a good person. Like what it truly means to be a good person. And I think that's perfectly fine. Sigmund Freud has this thing. Anyone who's ever fucking played I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, we're all familiar with this. He has this thing of the ego, the id, and the superego. I love this. I love this fucking, I love this thing, okay? I love this concept. The idea is that the id is your base instincts, is the animal part of you, right? It is the creature that has been born through evolution. The id has instinct. It says what it wants, and that is what it wants. There's nothing more complicated about it. It's just the id. The ego is you, is the thinking mind, it is your consciousness, is what the person is that's listening to this, is the soul that sits behind the eyes. That is the ego. The superego is the persona. It is the mask you wear to fit into society. The superego says, I must do these things and have these morals and think and feel this way to fit in. That is the superego. When you combine all three of these, you get a person. What I find super fucking interesting is that in order to be a good person, you have to turn off the ego and the id. And I cannot begin to tell you how absolutely fucking terrifying that is. To turn off the consciousness and the instinct. To have no fucking instinct and no consciousness behind it. Your intent is purely for the superego. It's purely to uphold the moral good. But even then, that's not flawless, right? I was talking about the Overton window. Well, what happened if Shiro grew up in a world that was more dog-eat-dog? What if the Overton window said, well, you can't save everyone, and you shouldn't save everyone? In fact, there's a lot of glory in death. What if Shiro was a fucking Viking? Where am I going? I'm committing a mistake. I'm going west. So there's no such... I don't want to say there's no such thing, right? It's possible there is such a fucking thing. And it's just so inconceivable, it's so difficult to understand, that I will never be able to encounter it. But I don't think there's such a thing as a fucking good person. I think that more or less we're all in it for ourselves. And while that's fine, nobody really wants to admit that. So this brings us to the talk about being genuine. I want to, like, say, on the face of it, don't try to be a good person. Being a good person is a fucking scam. Being a good person is so fucking whack. It is lame trying to be a good person. Not only because you will fail to meet those fucking standards, the fucking Emiyashiro, turn off your ego, turn off your id standards, you will fail to meet that. That is inevitable, because you are human. It is impossible. And if it is possible, you are doing a lot of self-harm by doing so. Right? Not just that, but also because, like, being genuine makes you more good than being good does, in my opinion. I can't think of a single person who tried to be squeaky clean, tried to be good, actually turned out to genuinely be so, right? I find that the people who are more often than not good people, as we would call them, as we would term them, turn out to be people who just keep it real. They stick to their principles. They have rules. They stick to those rules. They think something's wrong. They say something's wrong. To them, it doesn't even come up as a consideration that they could ever betray these principles. That doesn't make sense. It isn't logically track. There's this I remember when all the fucking cyberpunk hype was getting up before they over-promised and under-delivered. And Keanu Reeves was doing this fucking interview when everyone was calling him, like, wholesome and shit. He was like, don't call me wholesome. Because it sets up some fucking invisible expectation that you have of me. And I'm not that good of a person. And, oh my god, nothing has resonated more true. Alright? That is the truest shit ever. All this shit about wholesomeness, I can't think of a single wholesome person who is actually wholesome. Wholesomeness is a type of fucking performance. I truly believe that. You get some people to eat it up, some people don't eat it up. I'm sorry, this is the first time I'm seeing this. What the fuck am I looking at? What? Do I go in? I'll go in. It's so much easier to just keep to your positions. Keep it real, you will never go wrong. There are a lot of dead things here. Alright, let's take a walk. Alright, don't go left. Oh, this is not fun. Yep. This way. Oh, you're not that strong. Okay. Oh, they're dead. Nice. Okay, so we're kind of at that point again. I keep saying, be genuine. What the fuck does that mean? What does that look like? Is it really just fucking finding principles and sticking to principles? I do that every day. He wouldn't come up here, right? Okay, he sticks to his arena. What the fuck? That's crazy. Do I have to fight that thing? Wait, wrong way. Trap. Uh-huh. There we go. What? Gold Lich Cannon. That sounds crazy. I think that doing what's considered to be the difficult thing is going to be stand by your principles. I don't think it should be easy to, like, stick by your principles. I think sticking by your principles should be not an impossible thing to do. But sure, it certainly shouldn't be a cakewalk, right? Principles are principles because they are, like, immovable. And you're inevitably going to invite conflicts when you have things like that, right? There's a lot of negative connotations that come along with someone who doesn't budge. And for the most part, I agree with that. I understand why that's the case. There's a second half of this problem with being genuine that I find difficult to address. Because, like, if I address this, then it's going to sound like, okay, well, obviously you have to swing the other direction, but the other direction is staying silent. I'm going to say it anyway. There's this issue we have where when we want to be genuine, we want to be real, and we think that being blunt is being real, that being blunt is being honest. There's lots of reasons not to be blunt, but it's very tempting, because if you're blunt, if you're hurtful, it just goes to show you how honest you are, right? And everyone could believe you because you're honest. Look, you offended everybody. You made enemies with everybody. There's no way you're a liar. You said the quiet part out loud, and now the world hates you. There's no way you did that for nothing. So obviously you're being real. And well, yeah, sure, you are being real. You are being genuine. You're also being an ass, right? You're basically inviting self-isolation. These guys take bonus ethereal damage, I think. Oh, he's dead. I was going to set up a second one. Okay. Nice. He's fucking gone. You don't just risk coming off as an asshole, you do come off as an asshole. There's this idea that we had, like, back in the fucking 18th century that the bitter medicine is the correct medicine. If it tastes bitter, it's going to work. That is not the fucking case. You know, when we have any type of poison, for the most part, we have an instinctual reaction to just spit it out. It's just an evolutionary thing. Our ancestors learned, hey, the nasty stuff with bittering agents, usually not good to eat. Spit that out. And they survived longer that way. The ones who could detect the bittering agents in the poison and spit it out, they lived, and the others did not. So here you are, able to detect poison, able to taste it on your tongue, and your impulse is to spit it out. Well, follow the impulse. Right? It's not a bad idea to spit out the fucking poison. A bitter medicine is not always going to be a good medicine. There's a reason why we use sugar to help medicine go down easier. I don't think most people want to ingest bitter bullshit. But then you get into the conversation about, well, in order to create an anti-venom, you need a little bit of venom. And it's like, oh man. I don't know. I like how confident I was coming into this conversation. Like, oh yeah, I'm ready to talk about this. No. No, I am not ready to talk about this. I feel like I've achieved nothing. I feel like I haven't figured it out. I wish I did. What I'm trying to get across is that if you want to forge connections, if you want to be open, being genuine, god damn it, it's difficult. I wish it was easier. I wish it was easier to describe this phenomenon, this feeling. But I guess if it was that easy, everyone would be genuine, right? There's also a risk that comes along with being genuine. Like, genuine people are rather boring. There's nothing really exciting going on in their lives, and they don't tell you about, like, they don't tell you about the mundane shit, so it's like, what do they talk about? Nothing. They don't have any wild stories, right? They didn't do anything crazy in college, they didn't go out and party, they had calm, peaceful, basic lives. They lived contentedly, and because they're not exactly like liars or like deceitful people, yeah, there's really no story to tell. I love how the fireflies are still falling. Is that the fireflies? No, it's the lightning. Okay. There's nothing to be said. And if you're someone that craves attention, if you're someone that craves to be in the spotlight, maybe being genuine isn't the right choice. I don't like to advocate for shit just because it's the right thing to do, right? I think that the right thing to do is largely subjective. It's largely up to interpretation. I think that if you have a goal in mind, It doesn't really make sense for me to sit here and preach to you like, oh, you shouldn't chase after that goal. Well, you're going to chase after the goal, right? Like, a
How
criminal's
can I
going to
help
do
you?
bad shit. A criminal's going to lie, cheat, and steal or whatever the fuck. Oh, I already got these. Okay. All this money, and I'm kind of just sitting on it. That's good. I know who I can go to. There's some guy here who will boost my stats a little. Or did I already get that? I probably already got that. It's not expensive at all. I also want to point out that being open and genuine are two different things. Being open means you're also open to, like, oh, okay, you're open to speaking, but you're also open to receiving, right? You're open to deal harm, but you're also open to receiving harm, and that is scary. That's nobody wants to be that, right? That's kind of what it is to be open, though. You can't be closed off
I'm glad.
and expect everything to be all hunky dory, right? There's this concept that if you want to receive love, you will never receive it without opening yourself up to the shit that isn't love, right? You can't get water out of the well without reaching your hand into it. You can't forage for mushrooms in the cave. You don't walk into the cave. You have to be open to the failure. You have to be willing to deal with the fact that maybe it won't work out. Our world is an imperfect one. You can never have a situation in which everything is going to go perfectly the way you want it to. But as long as you have the ability to be open to these failures, open to these changes, you'll be able to navigate it a lot better. A lot of life is really just getting the shit beat out of you and then getting up again. A lot of times you're not even getting the shit beat out of you. You're just like falling down and getting scuffed up a little. Was this south? Yeah, it's south. It's very rare for people to have a fucking underdog story because, like I said, a lot of us live mundane lives. That's perfectly okay. You have to be willing to accept that. I feel like this was one of the more rambly episodes. I feel like I didn't really get my point across. Or rather, I feel like I already got my fucking point across in the previous episode, but even in this one where I'm supposed to make it stick, I didn't make it stick because this shit's difficult. This shit's hard, man. It's hard to tell somebody how to be fucking genuine, how to live by principles you don't really understand. How the fuck do you even get the principles? What do those look like? Let's identify like parts. Let's identify pieces of the world, right? Let's break the world down into pieces and then say which things we agree on and disagree on. Which parts of the world are fair and unfair? What parts of the world do we think are evil? And what parts do we think are good? Is happiness something we want to maximize for as many people as possible? Can we trust that everyone has full control over their faculties and will do everything in their power to collaborate with others? Do we feel that control is something that is best centralized in the hands of the powerful and few rather than the many? Is democracy a good thing? Do people vote with their best interests in mind, or do they play more into party politics? Do they treat the shit more like a game, entertainment? Should everyone have an equal vote? Who should be allowed into which country and which culture? Are there too many people or not enough people? Should every country live forever? Should everyone live forever? If we had the chance to make everyone immortal, should we take it? There is like a way to find these principles. There's a list of guidelines you can find, right? You can break down the world into these pieces, and eventually you'll come away with a pretty solid idea of what your beliefs are. But that's not the end of it. Next, you have to forge it, right? You have to challenge those beliefs. You have to say, okay, so let's say that you believe that democracy is a sham, and that monarchs are probably the way to go. You can't trust people to vote for themselves, because people are largely uneducated. They go with the fucking flow. They go with the crowd. And because of this, you can't trust the common rabble to vote intelligently. They will not do what is at their best interests, or the best interests of whatever kingdom or country you're part of. You can't trust the rabble. You have to centralize away from the rabble. Let's say you believe these things. Well, now you have to polish this. You have to polish your fucking your arguments. You have to polish your beliefs. You have to put it into the gladiatorial arena. Not necessarily with other people, but with yourself, and say, okay, but What if that's not true? What does it look like if I'm wrong here? What exactly happens if you can trust people? What if they do vote within their best interests and they do collectively want to see the world become a better place? And maybe all this misunderstanding is just because we all disagree on how to get there. Is it really right to take away their vote? Is it really right to centralize power into the hands of the few and ignore the many? Is democracy really a failed system? You take these counter beliefs and your beliefs and you go out searching for answers. It can be a fucking pilgrimage. Some people do that. I don't do that. It can be fucking listening to other people speak about this. Like, you don't necessarily have to go out and, like, enter the fucking liberal battlefield of ideas, like the marketplace of ideas. You don't have to do that. I think that's largely unnecessary. But you have to be able to empathize with the other positions, right? If someone actually did come to you in the marketplace of ideas, you should be able to summarize what they believe and why they believe it. And if you can't do that yet, if there's a position that is blindsiding you, that you don't really understand, you don't really get, I think that goes to show that your position really isn't as polished. Your principles aren't as polished, and so you need to do more polishing. I'm not saying this process is easy. Hell, I think it's fucking tedious. It's a long process. But this is something that, like, you're kind of supposed to do over the course of your entire fucking life. I don't imagine anyone to be able to look at their principles and say, hey, I believe these things and I am objectively correct, and that's just the way it is. You should. I don't think anybody's like that. Although it certainly fucking feels that way at times. I feel like I'm being vague again. So what's the polishing? What's the polish pass? Like, okay, I can't summarize this person's opinion. What do I do next? Spoon feed me, Luther. Okay. Well, if you can't summarize the opinion, it sounds like you need to learn more about the opinion. It sounds like you need to learn more about their principle. Why do they live this way? Why do they consider this to be the correct way to live? If we have a gaggle of cannibals, why are they cannibals? Why do they believe that eating human flesh is correct? Is it really just ritualistic bullshit? Is there a history behind it? Maybe in times of starvation, they did this and they came out the other side, and now they have like a strong fucking belief. But like, there's ways you investigate the counter principles. You investigate the things that do not line up with what you believe the world to be, with the reality that you see, living in the world in which you live. From there, you move on to the next stage. Where is the fucking inn? I have money and I want to get the rest of my fucking skills, buddy. It took me forever to get back home. You kind of like repeat this cycle like ad nauseum. And in my opinion, you never really finish learning, right? There's never going to be a time where you're like, okay, these are my positions and they're the correct positions forevermore. That's it. Eat shit. I'll do this one. Because Nothing Personnel Kit is very funny. Okay. God, what type of gun am I going to get? A fucking Chimera pistol, I assume? Am I doing a Chimera? I might. Ah, fuck. Oh, man. Hey, bro, I need blood bullets. Oh, that's not a blood bullet. That's a heat bullet. One of the most common elements in the entire fucking game, and I just got it. Why did I do that? I thought I should have gotten the cold bullet. Because, like, I know there's an area later in the game that's basically a fucking volcano. I just got a heat bullet. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Shit. Listen, I can't sit here fucking interrogating your belief system all day, every day, okay? I have to figure out how to make my build not dog shit. And, I just ruined it again. No, I didn't, because I don't use a fucking shield. It's fine. I'm not doing co-op. I don't know why the fuck I'm by that. I'm just wasting my cash. I'm just wasting money. I gotta go, okay? I can't. I gotta go.